Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Let's Talk Film, a series where contemporary women get a chance to have their voices heard on the latest film releases. Today's film we'll be reviewing is Rampart, co-written by James Ellroy and Oren Moverman, and directed by Oren Moverman. I'm standing here in Southeast Chelsea on 10th Avenue near 22nd Street, inside the very retro Highline Diner. Formerly known as the eternally popular Empire Diner, the Highliner Diner is a revival of this type of restaurant in Manhattan, which many considered a dying breed. With its Art Deco decor, this upscale retro diner car has a late-night kitchen that serves up the most delectable new American cuisine and the latest in cocktails and drinks. Already a neighborhood favorite, the Highline Diner is about to become even more so as the Highline Park is at its doorstep. Let's go meet our panelists and get retroactive.
But before we meet our fabulous panelists, let's step inside and explore the Highline Diner. With its daily blue plate specials as well as breakfast all night, the menu here offers upscale diner food, new American style. Created by Chef Jeremy Tomsack, who previously worked at Aquavit and at the French Culinary Institute, you'll find fresh, health-conscious offerings and your favorite staples with a modern twist. The Art Deco crimson and black interior of the diner is meant to evoke a train car on the Orient Express. Communal tables with stools as well as a wraparound counter foster that retro ambiance. There's even a secluded room in the back that's set up to look like a boxing ring, should you require a little more privacy. The owners, who also own Union Square Hipster Spot Coffee Shop, are masters at creating eateries of note. And with this, their legacy continues. Now let's meet our panelists.
So to my far left, I have Robin Ferrari.
Hi, I'm Robin.
Beside her, we have Olivia Narcisse.
Hi, I'm Olivia Narcisse.
Closing out our panel this morning will be Ashley Bensby.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Today's film we'll be reviewing is Rampart, co-written by James Ellroy and Oren Moverman, directed by Oren Moverman.
So we've seen this bad cop character in Training Day, Bad Lieutenant twice, and The Departed. What makes this particular character any different, and what prevents this film from being just another one of those types of stories?
I felt like in a movie like Crash, which is based on that same, actually the same events, the same storylines, and with an ensemble cast, it felt like those movies tried to tell each person's perspective more, versus this being very much about Dave Brown, his perspective and people's perspective of him. He's different as a cop because I feel like he's not so convinced of his badness. I feel he feels like he's just where Denzel Washington was much more about his corruption, that he knew he was corrupt and there was nothing that anybody could do about it, where Dave Brown thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly he's a bad cop, but I think what helped make this movie a little more interesting was that the conflict that, like, he doesn't see himself as being bad, and like his actions maybe somewhat he can justify them in some way.
Yeah.
So I think that it added a little more depth to what could just be like good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
And the fact that it was based on character development rather than action and background information and plot, I thought that would also set it apart.
I mean, I definitely concur. I feel like, again, with this film being a representation of actual events, what it may have been like to be in the LAPD at this time, is the late 90s, 1999.
Yeah, and people need to bear in mind that, LAPD, only until maybe the 90s, was one of the best police departments in the country.
Really?
They were the most efficient, they were most on budget, and that almost led to its corruption because it was so unwashed. that when it became corrupt, it became corrupt on a federal level. So there's it's the switching out of, and we're watching this at the demise of that corruption, where it's really not being tolerated anymore. But there was definitely a place where that kind of corruption was promoted.
So James Ellroy, who wrote such novels as LA Confidential, co-wrote this script with the director Oren Moverman. Did you feel like this was another film noir?
Yeah, there were film noir elements. I even believe some of the casting was for camp value. Steve Buscemi lends a campiness to it as the politician, and Ice Cube as the gumshoe cop. Even Robin Wright's character as a damsel in distress. Neither damsel nor distress. Give you that dragnet kind of feel, but it's interesting to have him be the hero to anyone, but there are still those noir elements in the film.
Robin,
I agree.
Ashley?
I think that was very well said.
Okay. The film had a star-studded supporting cast. Whose performances surprised you in this film?
I think I was most surprised by Audra McDonald because I didn't expect to see her.
Yes.
And I'm also just seeing her on screen is something I'm not used to either. And I just thought she was fantastic. So it was a really pleasant surprise.
I knew Ben Foster was in the film. When I saw him, I was shocked. I mean, he's almost unrecognizable.
That's true.
And then, of course, there was Ice Cube, who he sort of appeared there out of... I didn't expect him to be in that. I don't know that his character wasn't so crucial to me in the whole film, but it was definitely a surprise to see him.
You had an interesting point about the 90s and him being in the film.
Yeah, I felt that him being an ex-member of NWA and them being so vocal in their music about the type of police brutality and corruption that Dave Brown represents, and him being in this moment of the downfall of that kind of, post-Rodney King, post-riots, LA, that it's poignant to have a black gumshoe cop on his tail, because it signifies this changing of guard in the LAPD.
And also things coming full circle,
right?
In a way, just with his character and what him as a rapper represented, and then choosing this particular character, kind of coming full circle. Right. What were some of the more outstanding performances of this film?
I thought Robin Wright was fantastic. I loved her complexity that she brought to her character, and I loved being able to see her inner turmoil. I thought she did a fantastic job, and also Woody Harrelson just became his character, and it was unbelievable how you bought it just completely.
Yes, hook, line, and sinker.
I loved Brie Larson. For me, she was just a scene stealer. It's very, with such a strong cast, to have a young actress command her scenes and really be present even in her silence in a scene was, I found her very magnetic in the film.
Yeah, I mean, really for her, it was her, all of her character was in her silence.
Yeah.
It was all just purely, you felt her desperation, her everything, just sort of, not even desperation, she was actually quite confident in some ways. And I thought that was really strong. And of course, Woody Harrelson, I thought he was seamless. I thought he really became Dave Brown. Yeah. Like he was amazing.
I 100% agree with all of your comments. Bobby Bukowski, the director of photography, who also worked on Moverman's first film, The Messenger, which also featured Woody Harrelson and Ben Foster, worked in digital for this film. What were your thoughts on the cinematography?
I thought it was very effective. Nauseating at times, not steady. A lot of times I felt very like you were in his head, but it was this out-of-body experience. I sort of felt that, and I thought that was extremely strong. I thought the cinematography was excellent.
movement, his use of movement, circular shots, of confessional shots where even the person that you're speaking to is obscured. You can only see one facial reaction. Was really informative and dramatic to leading your emotions to what was going on. So I thought the cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah, in addition to those things, I also enjoyed like some of the grittiness of the shots. I thought that it served the film well, and
I think often that like a score dictates the emotion, you know, like, and I think in this case that was lighter, and I think it was strong for that, and the cinematography kind of told you like how to feel, and you know what I mean, more than the music did in some ways.
Yeah, I liked it you also felt like you were just an observer because of like the documentary style.
Yeah.
You felt like you were just kind of observing this whole world, and you were a little bit removed, and I like that.
Yeah. The cinema verite meets documentary, and we're kind of all on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
The film was edited by Jay Rabinowitz, who worked on A Requiem for a Dream. What did you think about the pacing and editing of this film?
The pacing, I believe, was deliberately slow to give you some time to wrap your mind around things or to accept some of what you just saw.
Yeah, I felt the pacing was a little bit slow in moments. I would say I didn't want the whole entire movie to be faster. But I felt that it dragged a little bit in certain places, and that I didn't feel that I needed that much time to absorb what was going on. But then again, in other moments, it did suit the story, and I thought that it played a significant role.
I thought the pacing was like integral to because you really needed to figure everybody out and make your own decisions. There was a lot of room for judgment calls and sort of deciding where you stand on things and then changing that, and I just think that you needed that pace. I love the slowness of it.
Would you have gone to see this film if not for this panel?
I don't think I would have. I don't think it would have been up on the top of my choices to go to the theater for. I think I would have seen it when it was out of the theater.
Okay.
Agreed. I probably would have waited till it was on DVD or Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think I would have seen it in theaters. I'm glad that I did, because especially I thought the sound I wouldn't have had, it wouldn't have been as powerful if I were to watch it in my home, you know? And I think that really contributed so much to it. But yeah, I read the synopsis. I thought it was going to be like sort of like this action, like, I don't know, LAPD. I just didn't really grasp what it was going to be, and I'm really actually very pleased that I saw it in theaters.
The description is very misleading.
Yeah.
I
really thought so.
Yeah.
But I think they did that intentionally to try and get people, entice you to watch it, but not give you too much of what the film is about.
But which is funny, because I think it wouldn't have attracted me. I think it will attract a different kind of crowd, and then it sort of will be a surprise.
I wonder if the audience that would be attracted to like an action movie, which is kind of what it was billed as.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
If they would end up enjoying the movie or not.
That's why I don't know that they would
advertise
have.
it as what it is.
But see, when you say advertise, are you looking at the posters? Are you looking at like write-ups? Or are you looking at the trailers? Like, which are you?
I actually didn't see the trailer, but I
didn't
did,
see the
because
trailer.
I read like the synopsis of it.
That's what I did.
Not even reviews, just.
I feel the trailer definitely made you think it would be a faster paced kind of film.
I was definitely sold by the trailer. It definitely made me want to see the film, all the more. So I think people will be pleased and pleasantly surprised if they're into character films.
Yes.
But ladies, we're out of time, unfortunately. This has been an engaging discussion about the film Rampart, and I want to thank you so much for your opinions and perspective. Thank you so much for sharing with me this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also want to offer a thank you to Clement and Caroline for allowing us to shoot here in the High Line. This has been a review of Rampart, written by James Ellroy and Oren Moverman, and directed by Oren Moverman. Check this out and more at www.letstalkfilm.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Stephanie Aline. Keep watching and keep talking film.